GM.
GM, how are you, friend?
I'm good. Happy Wednesday.
Same to you. It's an exciting day on the Superchain.
It is a very exciting day on the Superchain. We got some big news coming up. There's a ton of activity, but it's also retro PGF funding announcement day for round 4.
Right. Yeah. So if you're not familiar, folks, it's the Optimisn does retro grants for just doing cool things on the Superchain. Lately, they've been doing kind of categorized things. So it's like, this is who we're really trying to push the rewards to this time. And so, yeah, this one, the rewards go out today. So that's super exciting.
Yeah, and we're going to get into a little more about the types of folks who are likely on that list today that you're going to be seeing, hopefully in the comments section very soon. But before we do that, GM, it has been a week since we did our Superchain Spotlight show. And we do this show every week as an opportunity to kind of high level what's going on in the Superchain ecosystem, get into the weeds a little bit with Brock, because he is, of course, much more techie than I am over here. I'm tech adjacent, Brock.
Yes.
Tech adjacent.
Yes.
But we
on
also
chain. Everyone's on chain.
Everyone's on chain, but we're also going to get into just kind of some of the news highlights from the last week. So, well, first of all, how's your week been?
Great overall. I mean, doing a lot of building on our project, as well as just helping out on various other things for on-chain things. And yeah, it's been a busy week, but I'm excited.
Can you talk about any of the other things you're working on yet?
Or for other folks, I'll leave that to them. But for our stuff, for help, or help, however you want to say it, it's fun. So we're raising funds, or making it easy for people to raise funds on chain. It's just a huge technical burden, and so I'm doing all the heavy lifting so that anybody else can just kind of sign up and tell their story and collect funds on chain. Through On-Chain Summer, we really it's a blitz, and so built out a ton of things, but it was slanted towards maybe a little heavier than we wanted, towards nonprofits, just because I think that was like a big niche that we wanted to kind of hit. And now we're really seeing, like, there's a lot of folks that, like, someone needed help for their cat surgery. Someone is like a musician trying to raise funds. Someone's school sports team needs funding. And so, like, how can we make that easier for them? And so this week is all about, like, individuals being able to raise. So you can just sign up, tell your story, and instead of having to have like a website or anything like that, we're doing it all through like social connections. So ton of chaos, but doing all the heavy lifting so that, again, it's super easy for people to just sign up and tell their story and not have to worry about the underpinnings of on-chain and all of that. Can just tell their story, and if the world resonates with that, they can help out as needed.
Yeah, and we also made another announcement. We're not here to shill. We're here to give you opportunity right now, because what we decided to do with help is, because we were fielding a lot of questions, we're like, the best way for us to kind of learn what the challenges are that people are dealing with individually, and the best way that we can be helpful, is to just get everybody on a Zoom call. And so we were like, well, how do we build that out? And we decided we would do a 2-week accelerator. So we're actually going to be opening up opportunity for up to 25 individuals, nonprofits, causes, anybody who's looking to raise any kind of funds to do good. Let's just specify that.
Yeah.
To do good. How you define good is up to you. But we will be reviewing submissions. We've already had like 10 submissions through, so I'm very excited. But let me share a link to that. Are you looking forward to that? I think it's going to be fun.
To the accelerator, yeah, I think it'll be good to see not only how it can help people, but also learn about more frictions that we can remove. Because, again, like, the goal is make it super easy to give and receive funds on chain for good. And so yeah, I think that it's going to be a learning for us, and then helping kind of help with some help. So excited times for sure.
Help, send help. Yes, we'll be dropping a link underneath this video where you can actually go and apply. So very exciting. All right, what else has been going on? A ton of stuff happening on Base.
On-chain summer, the voting, they needed a little bit extra time, and so they're pushing it out to the end of the month. But I think it also correlates with like a physical event, and so in a way, they're delaying it so they can really like kind of review, because I think they got an overwhelming amount of projects, which is awesome. But then also give those people even more recognition, the ones that win. So that's super cool. But on top of that, they also just pushed like an upgrade through earlier this week, where they extended like the gas kind of the gas limits to where more throughput. I think it's like a 7% increase. So more throughput again, faster, cheaper, easy. So you don't have to do anything to get the rewards. It just pushed out onto the network. So when you use it, it's 7% more efficient, a give or take about 7%. So those guys just keep, sorry, those folks, I don't mean for that, but yeah, the people with base, they just keep rocking and pushing and pushing and pushing. And I even saw some amplification of their team saying, we're shifting into like third to fifth gear to really kind of like pull out all the stops. So
can we talk about that graphic that Jesse put out? Because it was amusing. Talking about going into like turbo mode, it had like, here's where you're at. It's either, slight personal sacrifice, heads down, and then the very kind of like hardcore one was like extreme personal sacrifices. And I was thinking, if we had a scale over the last couple of weeks, we'd have gone like off the page.
Yeah, we would have invented. We did really go hard in June. I think we're still going hard, but just in a more balanced way. Yeah. And so I think the first time I saw it, I was like, yeah, for short periods of time, this can work. But like balance, burnout, because if you go too long, too hard, we don't want to burn anybody out. There's a long journey ahead of us. And so being able to sprint and dash to like certain finish lines makes sense, but also, balance. It's
like look after yourself and touch some grass.
Yeah, exactly. So,
a couple of stats here before we move on from the build-a-thon. Yeah. So there was over 1,000 applicants. There are 8 tracks. Each of those tracks has a partner, whether it's Stripe, Farcaster, a bunch of other awesome programs and protocols. And then there's 200 ETH to be split between those tracks. In each of the tracks, they anticipate there will be 2 to 10 winners. I did a little napkin math last night because neurospicy. Mm-hmm. If they gave a fair split to the top 10
for each track,
yeah, my napkin math might be horrible, but I think it was about 27,000. No, that doesn't make sense. All right, ignore everything I just said.
I think that's like there's like probably some 10 ETH prizes depending upon how many are in each things, and so that would be about at the current rate about 30 grand. Yeah. So. Some serious cash being thrown around. Not to mention some folks like we are among many, I think, that are pulling their project from out of like the startup kind of hackathon phase into kind of getting it primed to be like a full product, right? So it was cool to see. I think all of that. Beyond that, like the dashboard for on-chain summer with Base, like through the upgrades with Coinbase Wallet. Not to be confused with Coinbase, the app, the actual like wallet. You can now connect like your Rainbow wallet to it and see kind of everything all in one. So that's kind of a cool upgrade. And then beyond
Coinbase, not Rainbow.
What was that?
I said you meant Coinbase, not Rainbow, right?
No, I'm saying through Coinbase's wallet's latest upgrade, you can connect your Rainbow wallet or MetaMask or other things all and see all of your assets in one hub. And so it's an enhancement to Coinbase wallet that happened, I think, last week.
Oh, so you're not even talking about this that I'm looking at right here. You're talking about
it is part of this because like so you can get like a smart wallet and then hooray, that's all fun and cool. And it uses like pass keys and stuff as opposed to like the private keys and whatnot that many are used to. But then you can kind of go in and it'll say like connect other wallets, and you'll connect your like if you have a Rainbow wallet or a MetaMask or whatever, you can connect it in so you can see all of your assets in one spot. You still are gonna like they don't do anything to like use those wallets. You're not kind of just like rolling it into one. You of course could import your wallet properly, but this is a way just to kind of see all your assets in one kind of hub. And and then they also extended this to where there's like things to do now, and you can earn points, and there's like a spinny wheel and all kinds of fun.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I actually had some fun on this today. So you can kind of scroll down here. You get your little summer pass. You can see here I've earned 360 points.
Did you spin the wheel today?
I did spin the wheel. I got a lousy 10 points, but I'll take it. I'll take it. But some awesome mints. This one, I want to talk a little bit about this. 250 points to meet this Daniel Arsham piece. Very prolific, well-known, non-Web3 native artist doing this partnership with USA Basketball and Coinbase. Tons and tons of these have already been minted. And then another, again, big name in the world of fine art, Takeshi Murakami. dropping these really cool 108 flowers trading cards. Did you do this? Did you mint?
I've not, but I've heard, not just from you, like everybody that's done it raves about the experience and like how much fun it was. And I just hate fun. No, I'm just kidding. I just haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, you and Brian Morris and some other people hit me up. I'm like, how did you open the packs? What did you think of it? And I'm like, I haven't done it yet. I feel like I'm missing out, but I will. It is on my list to do today. I just have
FOMO in. It was really fun. In fact, hang on. Is this safe if I do this right now?
It should be fine, but also like if it pops up like your balance or something, that might not be the fun. I doubt that you're probably recording your whole screen and just the tab. But yeah.
Yeah, let's not, just in case. But
yeah,
we'll say it was super fun. The reveal was really cool. I got 2 packs. It is soulbound. Any thoughts on that?
I think that you're going to see a lot of people dabbling more and more into the soulboundness of things. The Moxie card that's kind of like brewing, that thing is soulbound as well. I think it helps remove speculation in some ways. I've seen it work for like minting like an identity, because like you wouldn't want to like mint a thing and then here's me, and you give that away or trade it. So sometimes it's like it's a protection thing to like keep you from like whoopsing and like. But the flip side is also if you lose your wallet or it's compromised or something, like then it's kind of stuck there forever, and so you have to kind of start off. So like there are some drawbacks, but I do see that is becoming more and more of a thing to kind of avoid some type of speculation where just everyone mints their own and like that's it, instead of like, oh, I've got one and you don't and you need to buy it from me or whatever. So depending upon the way that you're playing things, it could be good or bad, but I do think that's something that people are dabbling more and more with.
Totally. What are your thoughts on Moxie? Are you excited?
I don't know. It seems like it could be fun. It could. I think it'll either be one of two things. Either I think it'll be like the bee's knees, and everybody's like super excited about it, and it has kind of like staying power with some of the things that they've built in. Or I could see it being like almost too cumbersome from an outsider to jump into, because it's so different than the meta. And so I think it'll either be. I've been talking about this like tipping meta needing to kind of mature, and so this could be a step in the right way. And I think it. In a lot of ways, it makes sense, but if people don't kind of get behind it, then we'll see kind of like how it can grow out of that. So I'm excited for it to show up and see what happens. But no, I'm not pumping anything or saying like it's the best ever. Like I've seen some people say like they're super into it. A good friend, Melissa Burr, is like really doing some deep dives and stuff into things. So it's been cool to see kind of her roundups. But yeah,
she is amazing. In fact, I'm actually going to pull up what she actually shared on Moxie so folks can know where to find it. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. She's just like a faucet of brilliant information. So yes, go follow Burberry with about 100 R's for Melissa. And then she is breaking down, just kind of distilling all of this information and giving you necessary links, and you can go read all about it. How do you think it impacts CGen?
I think they can coexist. I do think that like direct tipping, there's something to be said. I think that there was a lot of folks that were saying like, I don't know if I'm going to stake. It doesn't make sense. There's all these drawbacks. And then a few of them have said, I miss tipping, and so I'm going to stake. And so like they've kind of staked like a little bit late to the game to kind of, because they missed being able to like give people things that don't come out of like your own pocket directly. Yeah. And so I think again, all these things are they're there and they're exciting. I think a lot of folks jumped on to Farcaster. That probably accelerated Farcaster's growth by having this kind of tipping meta. But I do think that it needs to continue to move, because I think some people are either upset at balances or it's slow. Like there's a lot of feedback, and I don't know necessarily that we should listen to every single person, but being able to keep it to where it makes sense. It's still got that like being able to feel like you're actually like rewarding someone, instead of like, here is 10/10 of a half of a penny kind of thing, and like, wow, thanks for enjoying my content. Like and I don't necessarily know if it's the value, it's the act of kind of giving. And so yeah, I think that the meta is due for a shakeup, and the staking might be the thing. It might be something that needs to continue to be adjusted and experimented like they have kind of all along. We'll see. But I think Moxie is doing it way different, where it's kind of rewarding your casts overall. And then they have this like lockup period for a certain amount of time. But if you don't want to like just lock them up and have like money just sitting there idle, you can utilize it kind of again in the meantime to kind of like back creators that you enjoy, and then you kind of share in the rewards. So that might be the way where they're avoiding kind of like downward pressure, because it's really kind of like you're getting an allowance to invest in people, and then you will win as a side effect. So we'll see.
I mean, engagement farming aside, we've seen that relentlessly since there's been kind of social fi. Are we looking and kind of polishing and refining a better model to reward quality content here? Do you think we're getting closer to it?
Potentially. Again, I'm no expert in that, so I don't know. If I was going to roll the dice on something, I would almost have it towards a buy-in, like where you actually like buy like almost a certain amount of like arcade tokens, if you will, and that's your like monthly spend. And so every month you're putting in like, even if it's like $10 or whatever, and maybe there's some bonuses for going in on streaks or something like that. So where it makes sense, like if I keep paying like something like that, and then where you're actually giving it in. So you're bringing value into the system to participate instead of having it like just snapped out of nowhere and then it only like leaks out. So I don't know. I don't know how I would do it, but I do think that there's a lot of interesting discussions and ideas surfacing, and eventually someone's going to crack the code. And in hindsight, it's going to, oh, of course, like that's just kind of how this technology stuff works. But I do think that the cool thing is that people have this nature of wanting to give and to help everyone mutually win. Like I think that's kind of like part of the secret sauce. The rest is like how it is, how you do it, how you keep it to where it's like everyone has the best of intentions, instead of like people like running 1,000 accounts and like tipping in circles and all this other nonsense. So we'll see.
I'm going to spring something on you that we didn't even talk about discussing on the show.
All right, well, hit me in the morning with some randomness.
Yeah, but it feels like it's pertinent right now. Polymarket predicting the VP pick before the VP pick happened. Seeing a lot of activity around Polymarket. What is your take on it? I will say I tried to set up an account last night, and it says it's not allowed from my region. So no gambling from the USA, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, also being in the USA, I've never dabbled in it. I do think it's interesting. I don't know what app this is that you're looking at, but
this is on Warpcast right now. This is just
this doesn't look like Warpcast.
Nope, flying. This is on Twitter.
I don't know anything about that. But yeah, so with this kind of stuff, though, it is interesting to see how much information can spread and how memes can take off. And sometimes memes can make something or break something. It just depends. I'm not one for the running up and gambling with randomness or chasing like hype cycles and whatnot. But it is interesting if they, betting on things, I think is always something that's just baked into some of our nature in the modern world. So for the folks that it's for, it's pretty interesting.
It was always surprising to me that you cannot like place a bet here on literally anything in the US, because I grew up in a country where there's a betting shop on pretty much every corner. If there's a bodega, there's a betting shop, and you could go into that store and be like, the queen is gonna wear a pink outfit today, and they will give you odds for that, and you could place a bet. Wow. So I'm surprised, having lived in this country for over a decade and knowing how much gambling is prevalent.
I think it's probably because they know how much of degenerates we are, like through and through, and so if it exists, we'll do stupidity on it, and I think they got tired of people saying, "Oh, it's not my fault. I lost my everything." Like so, I mean, it's probably good that there's some safe rails, but also like there's gambling and all over. I think it's just it'll be interesting to open something up this and then like tax it, and then have the tax money actually like go directly into like affordable housing or something like that. Yeah, let us be dumb, but in a good way.
Well, that's what we did in the UK with the lottery. That was the only way that we were allowed the lottery. Was there had to be a fund, a lottery fund, and then
I think so much goes into schools here for like the big lotteries, but I don't know how impactful that is or not.
Well, that gives me hope. So so Polymarket, no opinion. That's
I don't know enough to know, but again, it is interesting that like I think that gentleman, again, I'm not into politics. I live under a rock for most things. I heard that they're kind of big on crypto, and so it'd be funny if like they somehow had they leaked it a little bit early to help some crypto people like win, or I guess some people also lose. I don't know. it's all on chain, so someone's going to find out.
Yes. Certainly a week to not be talking about politics, given current events. But we should note that we are seeing a lot more activity around this time with crypto initiative, and we do have a former president headlining at the Bitcoin conference this weekend. So it is inevitable that we will be having these conversations from time to time, but you will not see any political viewpoints from either of us here.
I don't care who you vote for.
We're not going to do that. That's not what we're here for. We're here to spotlight amazing innovation and good humans building on the Superchain. So what else this week? We had
OP Graham. I'm trying to think through everything. I think that we had one other thing, but I can't recall what it was.
Yeah. There wasn't a huge amount. I haven't seen a lot of creator drops this week. And then we had Ed with his claim. So for folks who minted a piece of Ed's work, you could claim the song, which I haven't done yet. I have to go do it.
I did claim it, yeah. And yeah, so that was cool to see that he crossed the 250 threshold, and then he released that. And I think there might be more in store. So that's interesting to see. Someone that was on here succeeding in kind of like meeting their goal. And I do think that like as the meta of like NFTs have kind of like shifted around where things don't instantly mint out and gas wars and all that stuff, like it's just cool to see that still things are moving in a way, and still there's still some desire for that. And I keep seeing people like upgrading and leveling up like what they're doing with NFTs and art and stuff like that. So even though it's very much a dev heavy on-chain summer so far, there are things where it's like OP's fest that's going on that's not necessarily, you don't have to be a dev. It is like DeFi, so there's some learning there, but also seeing like artists and musicians or writers jump in and produce and create and all that's happening on chain. So it's super cool to see. Super
fast. I love the whole branding that's gone around this. It's so fun. How to make DeFi fun. They did a good job. We did have an amazing conversation last week where we kind of got into the weeds a little bit with the OP team about how you can get involved. But definitely, if you're interested in learning more about DeFi, you should go check this out. Super fun.
Now's the time to do it. And there's stuff that's not like super high risk either. Like you can jump in and just like stake some ETH for a bit and get some rewards and whatnot. So,
and these fancy wristbands.
I know. I need to jump into more of it to get more wristbands.
They have such nice UX as well. Look at this. So
it's the Superchain.
That is the Superchain. It's pretty stupendous. One other thing we could do here as well, I think, just since we're actually, this is probably the shortest amount of time we've had because we are pretty news light this week, but maybe we can just run through some of the featured art on On-Chain Summer. Let me pull this up. So mentioned this yesterday on the Superchain Opportunity Show, and I try to do this every time we do anything live, but there are a ton of opportunities for everybody, whether you are a builder, and the builder could be a dev, it could be a creator, an artist, whatever. If you're showing up in this ecosystem in some capacity that contributes and doesn't extract, go talk about it. Go scream it from the rooftops, especially on Webcast, because you can be eligible for weekly rounds, essentially OP, airdropped OP or airdropped ETH. So let's kind of run through this right now. I am seeing a lot of art this week. So let's do a few shout outs. Let's see. Shout out to Tomas, 36 degrees in Budapest, not Bucharest, sharing some beautiful art. What is this? This is Beef, Chris, and Bothead. Amazing. That is Kristen and Art Lou, who have a show on Unlonely. Ooh, just reminded me. Unlonely dropped a new feature this week. Did you see that?
I did not, no.
Subscription in frame.
That's awesome. Is it through Hypersub?
It is not. It is. Oh, wow. Hold on. I will show you what it is. Okay, here we go. Looks like this. Okay, so you can now subscribe to the Good News Show, and you will get a ping every time the Good News Show is live.
I did see this actually. It's through programmatic direct cast. I forgot that it was through Unlonely, so sorry. But I think that is an underutilized thing.
Yeah.
And again, you're subscribing to it, so it's not like spamming you and you can opt out of it.
Yep.
But it will like let you know like a few minutes before the episode that like a new one's starting and they're about to go live, so that way you don't miss stuff. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
especially with everything that's going through.
Yeah, because I think that's kind of one area where we haven't quite nailed it yet is like discovery, right? We're still kind of a little bit in silos from place to place, but I think the more we can alert our audiences and build our audiences in one spot and actually have them know when we're live and have them know when we're putting something out, the easier it's going to be. Which, P.S., yesterday when I tried to go live on X, I got a notification to say that X is no longer supporting live streams unless you have premium.
Cool.
Another reason to not hang out.
I don't know that app, so I don't know. but also, yeah, the good thing is we're also on Unlonely and various other places. Yes. So
yes.
You know, it is what it is. We will continue doing this show, and yeah, I think I think that's everything. Unless you had anything else to add, otherwise,
I believe
another great week on the Superchain.
Yeah, I believe that's it. If you are building something exciting, if you're building something fun, definitely ping us, let us know so we can talk about it. If you are a Superchain builder and you're building something in that ecosystem, we want to hear from you. And we'll be back again next week with a special guest.
Yes. Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.